We're going to speak with Stan Shamu, who gives us a view, hopefully, Stan, on what's going on today and whether you think there's any significant movers in all of that. What do you think's at play for us today?
Morning, yeah, no, it seems like one of those confusing moments where the markets just aren't too sure what sort of themes in place. Of course, the most dominant theme is iron ore miners pulling back, and the resources are essentially weighing on the rest of the market. I think we would see a little bit of a bigger gain if it wasn't for the pullback we're seeing in some of these iron ore miners. Of course, now the main issue is with China's CPI reading showing inflation is actually accelerating a little bit. Everyone's fearing that the government might decide to tighten the screws a little bit. So we've got the likes of Fortescue and BHP down around 0.7. And that's really been the story of the market for the past week. The favour has switched back into the yield plays. Of course, Telstra is continuing to push a little bit higher. They're up about 0.5%, still testing that 450 level. They've been struggling there for the past couple of weeks. So it'll be good to finally see them nudge through that level, and this would probably see them accelerate their gains as well. Utilities are having a strong day. The likes of AGL Energy, APN, they're all doing fairly well, gains of over 1%. I think APN's actually up about 2.2%. So that really shows you the mood that investors are in, just exercising a little bit of caution. On the stock end, though, I mean, there's some very interesting plays. We've got Alumina continuing to extend its gains after, of course, that Alcoa result last week. They're up about 21% since Alcoa delivered that result, and obviously forecast better demand for aluminium this year. They're up another 2.2% today, and they seem to have established themselves above that $1 mark quite well. So we could expect to see them charged to about $1.20 in the near term. They're wide open for a move today. Of course, we've got McMahon's pulling back after Sembawang pulled that bid, but this has really given a bit of a kicker to Leighton Holdings shares. They're up about 0.7. Of course, they were also in the hunt for that construction unit, so this might be a bit of a benefit for them and clear the way for a takeover. But it does seem like, of course, we should continue to look at some of these risk plays to lead the market going into sort of the mid of the year. They've already had a big run now, but I suppose with the markets having a pretty good performance to start off the year, we have to look at some of these fund managers. I mean, you look at stocks like AMP and Premier Investments, they've been going very well of late, and you can't really ignore the fact that their leverage to the market will bode well for their earnings going forward.
Stan, what about the rest of the region? I mentioned Japan closed, but what are we expecting through the region today, and as we actually see the week play out too, perhaps?
Yeah, I think Japan will be the main focus at the open today. Once again, they're looking at a gain of over 1% at the open to around 10,920. That's where our opening call was. Of course, the dollar-yen will be the main point of focus there. It ticked higher again today, early in Asia, to about 89.68. So that will now be on serious watch, as the 90 level is the barrier to the upside, which or for the target range, which the new government has set. So should we start seeing that level being tested, we could potentially see a lot of speculative selling kick in for the dollar-yen, and this might result in a deep pullback, which might also weigh on the Nikkei. Of course, with the dollar-yen testing 90, we can also expect the Nikkei to test 11,000, and this will definitely be another key level for the Nikkei when investors wake up in Japan and see the green across the board and potentially look at some profit taking. Of course, the yen's weakness today has been driven by comments from the weekend by Shinzo Abe about appointing a policy leader that's probably going to aggressively implement some of those policy changes to make sure the economy gets out of that deflationary phase and digs it out of a recession in the near term. So that will probably continue to drive sentiment ahead of that, I think, January 23 meeting for the BOJ, and of course ahead of them needing to appoint a new BOJ governor to replace Shirakawa at the moment. So this might be the key ingredient for the region today. Of course, China is likely to see a little bit of a subdued opening to the week based on the performance from Friday, and with commodities pulling back along with some of the industrial names.
Fantastic, Stan. Great to have you on board again. Thank you.
Cheers.
Stan there from IG in